Title: The Case That Shut Down Glass Hollow Road. Discovery: Glass Hollow Road sits deep in western Pennsylvania, where the hills turn steep and the forest grows so thick the sun seems to hesitate before entering. The road itself is narrow, poorly maintained, and often covered in fallen pine needles that make it shine like damp copper under headlights. There are no houses for miles. No gas stations. No cell service. No reason to drive it unless you already know it's there. For most of its existence, Glass Hollow Road was just a forgotten rural route used by loggers and hunters. But in the fall of 2019, that changed. The case begins with 29-year-old photographer Daniel Whitby, a quiet, observant man known for documenting abandoned locations and overlooked natural spaces. He wasn't a thrill seeker. He wasn't chasing danger or folklore. His work was gentle, capturing the dignity of things being reclaimed by time. On October 12th, Daniel left his apartment at 7:14 a.m., carrying a DSLR camera, a lightweight tripod, a thermos of black coffee, his field notebook, and a single-lens audio recorder clipped to his jacket. He told a neighbor he wanted to film the way early morning light moves through valley forests. He expected to be home before dark. He never returned. When he didn't respond to texts by evening, his sister assumed he lost reception. When he missed work the next day, she filed a missing persons report. Cell tower data placed his last known location somewhere along Glass Hollow Road. On October 13th, just after sunrise, sheriff deputies located Daniel's vehicle pulled slightly onto the shoulder, front wheels angled toward the tree line, like he'd slowed and drifted rather than parked. There was no sign of collision. No skid marks. The driver's side door was closed, but not locked. The keys were still in the ignition, turned to OFF. The tank was nearly full. Inside the car were Daniel's backpack, wallet, and half-finished thermos of coffee. Everything suggested he planned to return shortly. But the most important item was on the passenger seat. His DSLR camera. The camera was powered on. Recording. Still running. But the footage was not video. The lens cap was still on. Daniel hadn't been filming images. He had been recording audio. The recording is 36 minutes, 41 seconds long. The first 15 minutes are uneventful. We hear Daniel walking, leaves crunching softly under boots, wind pushing through tall trees. A few quiet spoken notes, almost absent-minded. Humidity's higher than forecast, interesting. Ground scatters thicker here, probably runoff from the ridge. His tone is calm, professional, present. But at 14 minutes and 22 seconds, something changes. Daniel stops walking. There is silence. Not the natural kind. A thick, motionless stillness, like the forest itself is holding its breath. Then, very quietly, Daniel whispers, "Hello." There is no response audible to us. Yet Daniel clearly hears something. His breathing changes, sharp, controlled, as if he's trying not to sound frightened. He speaks again. Is someone there? Wind moves through the branches. Leaves shift. A soft rustle of undergrowth. Nothing else. But Daniel begins walking again, this time slower. Each footstep more cautious than the last. At 18 minutes and 12 seconds, he whispers, "I hear you. Just don't move, all right? I'm coming to you." The words are gentle, reassuring, like he believes someone, possibly injured, is nearby. But we hear nothing. No voice. No movement. No presence. Until 22 minutes, 9 seconds. A second voice enters the recording. A whisper. Close. Too close. Right beside the microphone. The voice says one word. Daniel. Not shouted. Not panicked. Just spoken, softly, like someone standing inches away, speaking directly into his ear. The voice does not match Daniel's. Immediately after, the microphone captures violent movement, footsteps breaking into a run, branches snapping, breath accelerating into panic. A sharp inhale, a gasp, and silence. The recording ends. The search. For the next 9 days, rescue teams scoured the forest. Trained dogs, volunteer search lines, helicopters with thermal imaging, drone sweeps. and environmental response units familiar with remote terrain. They found no clothing, no blood, no signs of animal activity, no broken branches or disturbed brush, no footprints leading deeper in. It was as if Daniel had simply stopped existing in the space between one breath and the next. The official report listed him as missing without trace. The case should have ended there. But 3 months later, someone else disappeared in the exact same place. And that was when Glass Hollow Road was quietly shut down. No announcement, no press release, no official explanation, just barricades. And silence. Escalation. 3 months after the disappearance of Daniel Whitby, Glass Hollow Road was still open, though locals had begun avoiding it. Search teams had left. News coverage had long since faded. The sheriff's office had one missing person case, unsolved, stagnant, filed away. Then Marcus Ellery disappeared. Marcus was not a hiker, photographer, or researcher. He was a delivery driver for a regional courier service. Reserved, routine-oriented, known for driving the same routes, the same way, at the same speed, every single day. He didn't take detours. He didn't make spontaneous decisions. On January 28, 2020, Marcus logged out from his route at 6:12 p.m. He sent a voice note to his supervisor. Signal dropped in the hollow again, stopping for a second. This was normal. Glass Hollow Road was known for dead zones. But the part that alarmed investigators later was the timestamp. Marcus was nowhere near Glass Hollow Road on his assigned route. There was no reason for him to be close to it. His GPS logs told a strange story. The delivery van traveled along its assigned highway path until 6:09 p.m. Then the van took a left turn off the route. A turn Marcus had never taken before, not in 4 years of working that job. Then another turn. Then a narrow rural road. Then a steep descent. The tracking map shows the path clearly. The van was driven directly toward Glass Hollow Road. When the vehicle was found the next morning, it was parked in almost the exact same location where Daniel's car had been discovered, positioned at the road shoulder, angled toward the forest. The engine was off. The keys were in the ignition. The driver's door was closed, just like Daniel. But Marcus had left something behind. Not a recording. Something written. The note. It was found on the passenger seat, torn from the delivery company's standard packing slip pad. 5 words, written in pen. I heard someone say my name. There was no signature. No explanation. The note was dated the same day. Investigators dusted it for prints. Only Marcus's were present. No signs of forced entry. No sign of struggle. No sign Marcus walked into the woods. No footprints. No drag marks. No disturbances in the brush. Just like Daniel. Except this time, the sheriff's office could not call it coincidence. 2 men. 3 months apart. Same exact location. Same pattern of abandonment. Same auditory detail. And then something else surfaced. The deleted 911 recording. On the evening Marcus disappeared, one 911 call was placed from the area surrounding Glass Hollow Road. The call connected for 7 seconds before disconnecting. The dispatcher log described the audio as breathing. Male voice speaking quietly, possibly asking something. Ends abruptly. But what made the call notable was not the recording itself. It was the fact that the caller's number was traced back to Daniel Whitby's phone, the phone that had never been recovered. The sheriff's office requested carrier verification. The carrier confirmed it. The call was real, originating from a device registered to Daniel, placed nearly 100 days after his disappearance. The official explanation given internally, possible number spoofing, could be coincidence, could be unrelated. But no one in the department believed that, not after listening to the 911 clip. Because just before the line cuts, a whisper, faint, nearly inaudible, can be heard. Daniel. The same single word captured in the audio recording from the camera. Same tone. Same closeness. Same impossible spatial proximity to the microphone. Not shouted. Not echoed. Spoken as though the speaker was standing inches away. Local response. After the second disappearance, something shifted in the community. Nobody wanted to talk about the road. Residents avoided the subject in conversation. Some refused to say the name Glass Hollow out loud. There were reports, unofficial, whispered, exchanged in grocery store parking lots, of voices calling from the tree line at night. People hearing footsteps that matched their own. Wind that seemed to speak. But none of these were written down. No police statements. No articles. No interviews. Just fear moving quietly from house to house. The sheriff finally contacted the county board, citing ongoing risk to public safety and unresolved missing persons. 3 days later, without public notice, Glass Hollow Road was barricaded at both access points. No explanation was issued to the press. No warning signs beyond road closed. The case files were sealed under pending state review. And that should have been the ending. But 6 months later, a film student researching abandoned locations found something the police missed. Something left behind in the brush. Hidden under leaves and pine needles. Just off the shoulder of the road. Nearly invisible unless you were looking for it. A third recording device. Still intact. Still functional. Still on. What it captured would change the direction of the entire investigation. Revelation. The device the film student found was a small, portable field recorder, the same model often used for wildlife documentation. It was buried under wet leaves, pine needles, and thin strands of root, as though the forest had been slowly absorbing it over time. The timestamp showed it had been running for just over 10 hours. But only the last 83 minutes had sound. Everything before that was silence, just the low hum of the recorder itself. The final 83 minutes begin with the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Not walking. Running. Someone moving unevenly, erratically, as if stumbling or trying to remain quiet and failing. The breathing is loud. Panicked. We can't know for certain whose breathing it is, but it is a man's. He whispers once, voice trembling. "Please don't follow me, please." Then silence, except for wind. A cold, hollow wind that seems to move without direction. For nearly 3 minutes, the recorder captures only the forest. Distant branches creaking, a faint rustle of leaves. Nothing unusual. A second set of footsteps. But not approaching. Matching. Every time the first set of footsteps move, the second move as well, at the same pace, the same rhythm, as though one person is echoing the movements of another. The effect is not dramatic. It is quiet. Precise. Wrong. The breathing becomes more strained. The person whispers again. "Stop. Please. Just stop." There is no reply. But the matching footsteps continue. At 42 minutes in, the footsteps halt completely. The breathing slows. The recorder captures a stillness so complete it feels deliberate. Then a voice, gentle, close, wrongly close, speaks. "You came back." The tone is not mocking, not threatening, not emotional. It is observational, as though stating a fact. The man sobs, not from pain, but from recognition. He knows the voice. We do not. The recorder picks up shifting clothing, someone kneeling, sinking, collapsing. The breathing becomes uneven, broken. Then the first voice, the man, whispers something almost inaudible. "I thought I left." The second voice, the whisper beside him, replies, "You don't leave." The rest of the recording becomes difficult to interpret. Not because it is corrupted, but because the remaining audio is nearly inaudible, like someone breathing through layers of fabric. Occasionally we hear movement, but without direction. Wind, but without variation. Leaves shifting, but without footsteps causing them. The forest sounds too still, as though the environment itself is listening. Then, at the final minute, the soundscape changes. We hear footsteps again, but just one set. Steady, unhurried, followed by breathing that is no longer panicked. The recorder captures someone walking back toward the road. No running, no fear, just slow, steady return. And then, the final sound. The recorder is picked up, handled, carried, and a voice, the same voice that whispered earlier, now speaks at a normal distance directly into the microphone. "Tell them I'm fine." The audio ends. Interpretation. Investigators reviewed the file. Forensics could not determine how long the device had been exposed to the elements. The voice was analyzed, filtered, compared. No match in any state or national database. The walking patterns did not match wildlife. They did not match an echo. They did not match audio overlay artifacts. The conclusion recorded in the internal survey notes was: subject believed he was not alone. Subject responded to a voice not captured under normal ambient conditions. Source of voice undetermined. The road remained closed. The families received no answers. The area is still inaccessible behind county barricades, not because of environmental danger, not because of structural instability, but because of what cannot be explained. Not a legend, not a myth, not a story passed down. Something observed, recorded, documented. A voice calling someone by name in a forest where no second person could be found. Something that does not chase, does not attack, does not reveal itself. Something that waits. And if the pattern holds, it waits for someone to walk alone, hear their name, and answer. Glass Hollow Road remains untraveled. Not because the barricades are strong, they aren't. Not because police enforce the closure, they don't. But because no one goes looking for their own voice coming back to them through the trees. Some roads close because of nature. Some roads close because of danger. This one closed because people learned to listen. If you thought this story was terrifying, just wait for the next one. Subscribe before it drops.